Good morning. I'm Jonathan Rende, SVP and General Manager of Products at PagerDuty. Companies are more focused than ever on retaining their existing customers in today's economy and what's going on. With digital apps and services dominating our professional and personal lives, those in customer service organizations for every company continue to be the face of that business and brand. And when something goes wrong or some part of the digital service is unavailable, they feel it. Now, this is true for every industry, from retail to media to hospitality to financial services and more. Some interesting stats from the past year include a customer is 4 times more likely to buy from a competitor if the problem is service related rather than price or product. Or it takes 12 positive customer experiences to make up for 1 negative one. Now, it's not all bad news. Similar studies from our guest company, Salesforce, shows that 3/4 of customers will share their good experience with others as well. So for today's fireside chat, we're thrilled to have Clara Shih, Salesforce's CEO of Service Cloud, share some of her thoughts on customer service as the front door to the business and how it's more important than ever to ensure a great customer experience. Thanks for joining us today, Clara. We're honored to have you share your thoughts with PagerDuty, our community, and our thousands of joint customers. Welcome.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's great to be here.
So I'd like to start by asking you to share how the pandemic has changed your Service Cloud business, how your customers and customer service have had to adapt to everything that's gone on over the past 12 months.
Yeah, it's been hugely transformative for all of us and all of our customers and our employees. And just thinking about March 2020 and how suddenly years of transformation were condensed in a matter of days and weeks and months. It's just really incredible, right? Customers calling in, myself included, to scramble to change hotel reservations, airlines, trying to get credits, because we didn't know then when we'd be able to fly again. Customer support teams being flooded with call volume, especially contact centers, customer support agents traditionally able to walk over to the engineering desk or talk to DevOps when there's an issue. All of a sudden, everyone's working from home and unable to do that. And so we've all scrambled to try to make things work in this environment, both for our teams and how we work together, but also with our customers.
Yeah, that it makes sense. I think we've all felt a little bit of what you're saying. And, although knock on wood, businesses are beginning to reopen again in person, I guess it's naive to believe that things are going to go back fully to the way that they were, at least initially. How do you think in-person or co-located experiences for customer service teams are going to evolve given what we've learned over the past year?
You're absolutely right. No one's going back to pre-pandemic life. I think, at least at the companies I've worked at, Salesforce, my own company before, we were used to going in as a standard operating procedure. And we already know that that's not going to happen. One of my coworkers went in to the office last week. We have a set of volunteer vaccinated cohorts going in. And he said it was just not the same, right? Having to be distanced, having to wear masks. Every meeting he was in, most of the team members on the meeting were not in the office. And so he had to be on Zoom, but with his mask, which just isn't the same. And I think even after, hopefully we don't have to wear masks on an ongoing basis, things are going to change. And so I think CEOs have known for years that they need to think differently about their support teams and their operations. And already we're seeing people be very creative in terms of how they get work done, and in the ways that we used to just walk the halls, whether it was supervisors helping customer support agents out, or, like I said earlier, customer support reps walking over to DevOps when there's an issue. That just doesn't work anymore. And so we need new ways of working together. And then on the customer side, whether B2B or B2C, we saw a really interesting phenomenon over the last 12 months where bots and self-service have surged, right? These are traditionally technologies that high volume B2C companies embrace, but we're now seeing these behaviors coming into B2B just to help be able to handle the volume and to ensure that customers get answers and resolutions fast, and they don't have to keep waiting to hear from their support agent or be put on hold or wait for a few days for their customer success manager to get back to them. They want it instantly.
Yeah, that also makes a lot of sense, especially the automation piece that you're talking about to make lives easier. Maybe if I switch a little bit to collaboration, you mentioned, the similarities, and there is a natural synergy between DevOps and customer service. And what we see is that customer service is a critical part of the DevOps transformation that a lot of companies are undertaking today. Developers and site reliability engineers, they're all on the front lines when disruptions in services occur. And customer service, obviously, is on the front lines when those disruptions are impacting customers. So whether the problem is first identified by customer service or whether the problem is first identified by developers and IT ops, what do you feel is most important when these two organizations have to work together, have to collaborate more?
Well, it's really so critical. I mean, it's been critical, but now it's become mission critical. And you think about connecting DevOps and operations to all of the work that happens in Salesforce, from customer engagement, both inbound and outbound proactive, to workflow, to data and AI. All of those pieces have to be connected. And it sounds easy, but it's hard because we all know that those teams live in different environments and live in different technologies. And so that's just it's really become kind of a requirement for these days. And you think about service disruptions, right? Whether it's an outage or security issue of some sort, we have to bring these teams together to mitigate the downside, to be able to deliver fast answers to the customer, let them know the status of the fixes, and then when it's done, to close that out with everybody who's involved. And so it's all about speed, it's all about transparency. And in the past, the ways that we achieve transparency, right, walking the halls, no longer work in today's environment. And so we have to come up with new ways to provide that transparency.
So that's a natural lead in to some of the work that we've been working on to build, to enable that, working obviously with Service Cloud, and to switch gears a little bit again and talk a little bit about what we've been doing and get your thoughts on, does this make sense or not? So PagerDuty has had our Salesforce application for some time. Our app is right now, it's on the Salesforce App Exchange, and our new PagerDuty app for customer service is all about addressing some of the pains that agents feel when they're unable to collaborate, as you were just talking about, right in the midst of big disruptions, the kinds that everybody is all hands on deck. So my thinking is, customer service is arguably the most important stakeholder who needs up to the second outage information when that does impact customers, when it's business impacting. What are some of the pains service teams experience during these types of situations in your experience? And what are some of the implications of agents becoming more empowered on the front lines and having the ability to act proactively?
The pain for anyone, whether it's a customer or one of your employees, is always friction. And what we've found is the greatest friction occurs when there are handoffs. Right? That's usually when balls drop. And so, I mean, this is something we learned. One of the most popular aspects of Service Cloud is something called omni routing. And it's basically work that comes in. It could be an inbound call, it could be an inbound email ticket, it could be submitted web to case, however, whatever form. And that gets routed to different queues of agents. And sometimes those agents will then route it to someone else. And we recently made it multi-step so that omni routing would be built on the Salesforce platform's Flow Orchestrator. So through this work and talking to our customers and analyzing how routing and flow are getting utilized, we've come to learn that one of the biggest pain points is exactly around what you described, is around the coordination between frontline customer support agents, customer success managers, AEs, engineers, DevOps, SREs, and all of those different parties. Now, all of those individuals don't log into Salesforce. And so that's where I think our partnership is so great, because it connects those worlds in different systems where these stakeholders spend their day. And it's really about, again, speed and transparency. And so getting this information quickly to agents allows them to be empowered, to have answers, and to be proactive and letting everyone, other customers who might be affected, know before the customers have to call in. Right? That's the magic of customer service, then you can do that. And so I think it's highly transformational. No company wants massive disruptions to happen, but they're inevitable in our world. And what makes the situation worse is when the support team can't answer and that they're not proactive. And so that's something that we can address, connect what's happening in the PagerDuty world with DevOps and SREs with where the customer service agents, CSMs, and AEs live in Salesforce. And so I'd say it's really exciting for us. And where we're seeing, we're investing heavily in incident management and swarming. And for our customers who also use PagerDuty, which we did at my former company at Hearsay, I think it's really exciting, right? Because now we're giving the service team not only a complete view of the customer, but also a complete view of the problem and how it's being resolved. And with that complete understanding, they can communicate more accurately and informatively with customers. And also on the problem solving side, right, all the details that are coming in from the customer via the CSMs and customer support agents, that information is getting also more efficiently and quickly over to the DevOps and engineering teams.
It's interesting. There's probably, to your point, different types or maturities of organizations. And what we've tried to do working with your teams in Service Cloud is enable kind of both a situation where we can eliminate the number of handoffs between teams when a case is opened up, or if that organization is following more of a traditional tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, also enable that to work so organizations can mature at the rate that they're most comfortable with. Thank you.
It's both maturity. It's both maturity, and it's also different situations, right? Because if you think about swarming, it's very costly for an organization to ask everyone to drop what they're doing, context switch, and all hands on deck on an issue. You'd really only do it for a Sub 1 issue, maybe Sub 2 issue. And so then the rest of the time you want to follow the cues and the protocol and the priority that you've put in place. And so I think that the most mature organizations are actually doing both, which is why I'm glad we were able to collectively support both modalities.
Well, Clara, it's been great to hear some of your thoughts today on what has changed in the world of customer service and in your business. We're excited to continue to evolve the partnership working with you for the benefit of our common customers and our community. I want to thank you for taking the time today and sharing your thoughts with us. Any parting words that you have about business this year, how it's evolving, what you all are planning at Salesforce?
Thank you, Jonathan. I would just say it's such a time of uncertainty right now that those of us who are in leadership positions and really anyone in the organization, it's an opportunity to really think out of the box and think creatively about how we can work together, which is one thing I really love about this partnership is just necessity is the mother of invention and creativity. And it's right now before all of us is just this tremendous opportunity to rethink how we engage with our teams and customers. And so just to seize that opportunity and to thank you for the partnership.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. For everyone out there, we have a whole track session on additional customer examples, customers who are using our joint solutions, our platforms today. I welcome you all to take a look at that. And Clara, again, thank you so much for taking the time today. It's been a pleasure and look forward to continuing working with you.
Thank you. Great to be with all of you.